These segments are always a treat, and they're even better when you get the text from Sal. I've got trivia for you. They're even better. So here we go. Sal's got trivia. I'm ready. Bulldog is ready too.
Hang on, let me just close up this terms and conditions thing from the FanDuel website, and I'll get back to
Sal, will this be considered cheating if he has the FanDuel terms open?
No, I'm out. I closed it up. I'm gone.
All right.
It's over.
Safe. We're safe.
I think actually it might be pretty easy for you guys. It was something that I came across today. I'm like, wow, I don't remember that. And then I guess I do. So the Bills, you guys talked history about Bills and Saints here and when they've played and the games and how they've gone and all that. And I did a video on it today. I've been doing every time the Bills play a home game, I do a Highmark Stadium, memories of teams. I've only been to one Bills Saints game. That was the 2017 game, actually, 47-10. I know you were at the one in 83. The one before the 2017 was 2009. Bills lose 27-7. Do you guys remember how the Bills scored their touchdown?
I don't. We were on the air. I mean, that's the one Bills Saints game I've not been to. I've been to all the others, but that game is not fresh in my mind at all. I can't.
Bulldog?
I don't know.
Is 2009? No, I don't know.
The Bills faked a field goal, and Brian Moorman threw it to Ryan Denny.
Okay, I remember Ryan Denny catching a fake field goal. I'm assuming he only did it once.
I thought they might have done another one against the Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
Yes. They did. It was the year before that. Actually,
Right.
the year before that, 2008. I thought there might have been one against the Texans at some point. I can't find that necessarily, but in this game, the Bills, this is the 2009 game, the Bills are down 7-0, and then Ryan Moorman lines up, and he's the holder. Mm-hmm. He gets the ball, and then he just starts taking off. He's going to run. He's a really good athlete, as you guys remember. And the guy's closing in, so he just dumps it off to Ryan Denny. It was a really well-designed fake field goal, and Denny runs in for the touchdown. Bills tie at 7-7. They want to lose 27-7. That was the week after Dante Whitner's pick six against the Buccaneers that year.
Yes.
Seattle rings a bell, too, for a fake field goal. I don't know who it was.
That was the year before in the opener in
Week
08.
1.
Yeah. All right.
Why didn't the Bills just ever figure out what they needed to do, which was to make Brian Moorman the quarterback? I mean, all those years of struggles. One thing, I think this is right. If you look at the history of the Bills versus the Saints, and it's not like there's tons of it, you have to go back a long time to find a Bills quarterback to have started 2 games in a row against the Saints. I think it would be Rob Johnson. Because there was a win in 98, end of the season, that maybe was a meaningless game. And Johnson played at least some of that game. I'm not sure he started it. But the Bills won that game in New Orleans. And then 2001 opener, that's his team. And they lose to New Orleans.
I don't know if that's right. Kelly played in the 89 game they lost, and then he played again in New Orleans a few years later.
No, right. That's longer ago, though. To go back.
I see what you're saying.
You have Allen, and then you have Tyrod Taylor, and then you have Thad Lewis, maybe, and then you have Edwards.
They've only played 12 games against each other, right? It's one of the fewest, I would say, around the league, probably, that they've played.
Yeah.
The amount of games. I did the video today, and I was trying to do some research. In the 4 wins here, they've outscored the Bills 120-42. That's crazy. There were some big numbers, not just in 2017. Anyway, I wanted to ask you guys also, I don't remember this or know this. I can't think of the last time they ran a fake field goal, the Bills, then. Maybe I'm just blanking on one, and they absolutely ran one recently. Have they even run one under Sean McDermott?
Nothing comes to mind. A certain fake punt comes to mind that didn't work out.
Yes.
But I don't remember a fake field goal. I'm ready for one. I'm with you. I'd like to see it. Does this game might not be the one because then you're just showing off.
This is not a game
You're 15-point
you
favorite.
Dust off your fake field goal.
No. You shouldn't need one this week.
You waste it.
Bulldog, it gives the opponents something to prepare for later in the year.
Right.
You know that.
Fair.
Takes away time from practice.
Right. How much more, seeing as we were talking about field goals and fake field goals, how much more time and attention are all NFL teams this week giving their special teams coordinator on field goal blocking? Because of blocking for field goals, not to block field goals. Yep. I mean to defend against getting your field goals blocked. Because it seemed like every game from 3:45 to 4:15 last Sunday, it seemed like there were 12 blocked field goals. I know I'm exaggerating, but it was one after the other for a little bit there.
First of all, I want to say I loved it. I love it. I don't want it to happen against the Bills necessarily, but I just think it's awesome that this is happening because make special teams matter again, right? I mean, we know the kickoffs now and what's happening there. And if special teams coordinators can scheme up blocks, I think that's awesome. And it really forces a little bit more strategy going back and forth. To answer your question, we did ask John McDermott. He was asked this on Wednesday at the media session. And he said he was watching Sunday. He saw what was happening, and he shared texts with Chris Tabor about it. Like they were texting about it. We asked Greg Rousseau after practice about it. He's like, "Yeah, it's an important because Greg Rousseau's on the field goal block team. It's an important play. He's like, we work on it, and it can change a game, no doubt. So yeah, I love seeing that. And it's so funny, like because of the way the ball bounces and goes back, how many times you see guys just pick it up and run with it, which is what we saw a couple of times. You see that in the Philly game, you see that in the Jets game, right? That's kind of what happens sometimes on field goal block. So yeah, I do think they're paying more attention to it, to be honest with you, this week because of what happened Sunday.
While we're here on special teams and making special teams matter again, have you seen the rundown of what the maybe you were watching the game anyways, the Rams kickoffs against the Eagles? We've talked a few times, and I've said many times since the rules were tweaked again this offseason, you should be working with your kicker on perfecting like some sort of low liner knuckleball, hard to handle. Yep. The Rams are doing it like on every kickoff. And they have the best starting opponent drive start, I think, in the league as part of it, or at least after kickoffs. They are doing a great job. It's really, there's certainly some luck the way the ball bounces, but the Eagles had a hell of a time fielding kickoffs against the Rams last Sunday.
I did not see this. I saw an article that I think probably was this article referencing it, and I meant to kind of make sure I go back and read it because people were sharing it and going, "Oh, this is pretty cool." But yeah, you're right about it. I mean, the whole thing with kickoffs has kind of forced a lot of teams and coordinators and coaches to really kind of rethink how they envision things and want to have a new edge. And if this is the new edge, then great, good on them, because I think that's pretty cool because you're really forcing the other team that you're playing to have to kind of figure it out and say, what are we going to do here? And that's pretty cool.
The Eagles, I didn't know this, but I've seen a lot of it, not just from the Rams. The Eagles had 5 consecutive drive starts on Sunday from their 20, 19, 9, 14, and 35, and then the 10. And before you might wonder, well, did the Rams just pin them deep on a punt? Those were all after scoring drives.
Right.
They were all off kickoffs. There might have been a penalty or two to push them back, but 20, 19, 9, and 14.
Right. They're doing great.
That worked out.
Yep.
That's not even I might have seen Baltimore take a touchback on a ball that landed short. So they started at their 20 Monday night. I think it was Baltimore in that game against the Lions. All right. Sal, no change to the injury report today. I'm a day late on Spencer Brown not being here yesterday. He was hurt some point during the game. And, for whatever that matters, it is he's not a guy we talk about all the time, but you might I know Sal will. You might remember a time where Spencer Brown was kind of just a punching bag, with fans, and we of course everybody knows the story of Allen sort of reforming his technique and becoming, an all-time great. And boy, Spencer Brown did some of this, I want to say.
Yeah, Spencer Brown, I think what Brandon Beane explained to us, I think, right after he got his contract extension, Spencer Brown, we were talking about him, is he said when Spencer came in the league, he had a bit of a back issue they were dealing with, and it really cost him some time. It cost him some development, and that's what people don't really think about a lot, right? You want these immediate results. We talk about the guys from this year's draft class, right? And they're not playing and how all of that is working out. And sometimes you don't really understand what's going on behind the scenes and why guys might not be able to make an immediate impact. But once he really became healthy and really worked hard and, became a part of the program, so to speak, Spencer Brown really became a very, very important big piece for the Buffalo Bills. And I think he's been very good at right tackle. He is a very good athlete for his size. There's no doubt about that. He allows the Bills to do a lot of different things, both from the right side and the left side. They have really good athletes on both sides at bookends. And now they have them both locked up, by the way. I mean, Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins are both locked up long-term with contract extensions, and that is a great, great thing to have. By the way, Spencer Brown, one of only 3 Bills so far this year to play 100% of the snaps on offense or defense. Do you guys know the other 2?
Yeah, they took some of their line out
in
the Jet game, so I wouldn't say any other. I might say
one
Dawkins.
other lineman. One other lineman. Nope, Osiris Torrance.
Okay.
and their one guy on defense has played every single snap so far.
Rapp?
Every one of them. Other safety, Cole Bishop.
Bishop, okay. Yeah, there was the one game, was it maybe the Jet game where Bishop played the whole thing? That was, they're way ahead. That was notable.
Right.
Good.
Well, if Brown can't go, not that, I know he talked yesterday. He was on One Bills Live. You and I think, talked about it yesterday, Sal, how he said he thinks, guys always say, I'll be fine. No work again today. We'll see. Maybe he can do something tomorrow. But if he can't go, that's Vandermark, right? And that went pretty well last year, didn't it? He had to step in one game, and I think it went well.
He did. The Chiefs game, actually. He played in the Chiefs game. He was he started for, was it Dion even?
No.
Did they miss Dion, or was it for Brown?
I think it was Brown, yeah. That's what I remember anyway. If I could be
I think you're
wrong,
right about that. But I think it was the Chiefs game, if I remember right. Either way, you're right. And I think even going back to New England maybe the year before, like Ryan Vandermark's had to play in a pinch a few times, and I think he's done very well when he's been called upon. What's funny is about that, he wasn't even supposed to be the swing tackle last year. He was inactive, and that's because Travis Clayton had taken his Tylan Grable had taken his job as the swing tackle. He became inactive, but then Tylan Grable got hurt, so Vandermark became the guy again, and he was put into that position. Well, Tylan Grable's hurt again this year, so if Spencer Brown can't go, I think it's definitely would be Ryan Vandermark based on who they have available and what the lineup would look like.
Right, it's Chase Lunt is the other backup tackle that I see here. And he plays a little tackle, a little guard, and I think honestly, Bulldog, like Chase Lunt is one of these guys where I just think that he's on the roster because they don't want to lose him because they like him, but I don't know if there's any chance he'll ever actually play this year outside of maybe, if things go where they have things, in hand late in the year. I don't know if they want to put him on the field. I just think they don't want to lose him to waivers is why he's on the team right now. Mm-hmm.
They can't get that guy Bills back here who was named Bills, like 15-point favorites.
Keaton Bills?
Keaton Bills. Too late, no chance. Is he somewhere else? I don't even know.
They did sign Nick Broker actually back to the practice squad. He
right.
actually would be a guy that you could turn to, but that's a guy they had drafted and he was gone. But yeah, Vandermark's really the only guy. You're right. Chase Lunt would be another guy. Now Alec Anderson can actually play all five positions. It's not his normal spot to play outside, but he kind of plays a little tackle when he's the sixth offensive lineman anyway. But it's not his normal spot, so it would be Vandermark.
Sal Capaccio on the West Her hotline last week with the Dolphins. Last week at this time we were out there. And the conversation was a lot about, well, Bills are a big favorite. What was it, 12 last week? Mm-hmm. How could they lose, and things, sort of the traditional recipe for an upset. But that was a Miami team that had given the Bills close games. Not the Bills have won all these games against Miami, but a lot of them were close, as it turns out was the game last Thursday night. There isn't that with New Orleans. Miami, you might kind of think, and this is easier now to say after that game, but maybe the wheels come off. But that's a team that's had good seasons and a playoff appearance or two. It's a good rivalry, all that stuff. The Saints are none of these things. The Saints would have been, I think, the most popular pick in the league before the season to finish with the worst record. One of two or three teams at least for that. And nothing so far this year has gotten anybody off that spot. The game in Seattle is 37-3 midway through the second quarter. Come on. So we can say the same thing, Sal, about how they might do it, but turnovers, right? So it's the same things. But it's much harder for me to see New Orleans hanging on Sunday than it was to see Miami doing it.
Yeah, I would agree. And even if the Bills were to, the Bills have now gone 8 straight games without a turnover. They've won the turnover bet or have not lost it for 24. Even if those things turned, I think it's still going to be tougher for New Orleans. They would have to still, win the game. In a game like against Miami, if you give them a couple mistakes, they could have wound up beating you. I think New Orleans, that's the path. They would have to have those things happen. I think they'd have to do some other things on top of that, and it would be tough for them. Now, that said, one thing the Bills do very well is run the football. New Orleans has actually been pretty good at stopping the run this year. They're only allowing 3.6 yards per run so far this year. So, it's probably something that, if the Bills going to have to, maybe they want to throw the ball, and that's great. Josh Allen can throw the ball, but at the same time, maybe they try to put him under a little bit of pressure. They're in top 10 in sacks per pass attempt on defense. They have some talent on that side of the ball, and they can try to they'll be aggressive. I always think that, when a team loses like the Saints did last week, they'll go into the next week with something different, changing up. They'll have tendency breakers because they'll think, we got to kind of do something different. This isn't working. What are we going to do? And that's when you can surprise a team. And we all remember what happened with the Bills when they went to Minnesota in Josh's rookie year, week number 3, and they're 17-point underdogs. They wind up winning. A few plays go their way, and then suddenly you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? We're winning this football game, and the other team starts to panic a little bit, maybe because they're supposed to be this big favorite. They make a few mistakes. That's probably the path to victory for the Saints here. I also think Spencer Rattler is not that bad, actually. When I watch him play, he's got some arm talent. He's a good athlete. I just don't know if everything can happen for him all in one in a game like this. The offensive line isn't that great, and they have some skill position guys, but it just feels like they're really just undermanned overall.
Rattler has a birthday on Sunday, by the way. He'll be 25. And he's 0-9, but you like him. And you're not the first person to say that. I was thinking about this earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Brett Coleman, who does a lot of film study, has been on our show before, said after their opener against Arizona, which they lost, he thought that Rattler was, not bad. Yeah. So what was one thing about last week, the Seattle game, which I really only saw from the box score in addition to a couple of highlights, but Chris Olave had like 10 for 57 or some kind of stat line like that.
It was, yeah.
And I don't know how that's possible for a player like that. I mean, he's somebody, he's a burner. Like Olave is somebody that can sort of stretch the field. But for whatever reason, that did not happen in a game they were down big in. I would think that they'd like to, bump up that yards number, even if it meant cutting receptions in half to get more, important plays out of Olave. He's good enough.
Yeah, they are. I think their overall yards per attempt is really down. It's under 6 yards per attempt for the Saints. So feels like they want to be a little more methodical, not drive the ball down the field, and that's probably how they want to beat the Bills, right? I mean, maybe they let it all hang out and they throw the ball down the field, but the path usually is, hey, keep the ball at Josh Allen's hands. How do you do that? You have you have a shorter passing game, you have a good running game, and you do that because right now they're just not pushing the ball down the field that much. He's at less than 6 yards attempt, like I said, and that's not a high number at all. That's a very low number in the NFL.
Yeah.
4.7 as a team. Net yards per attempt.
Yeah.
The Bills are at 7.3, which is 4th, and even the Bills. There's some run after the catch element here, but even they, like in the Dolphin game, it was historic for how short both teams' pass attempts were.
Yeah, I'd be bracing for just like a lot of Alvin Kamara in the flat type stuff, like that, right? So the Bills will have that buttoned up because Miami stung them a few times with some of that on Thursday night. Mm-hmm. So and Kamara is he's excellent. So they're gonna have to be buttoned up